Hi, this is B.C. Locke, and this is my book called Morgan's Potion, which has a part 2 that's going to come out pretty soon. This book is called King's Signet, which the photography is done by my wife, Adeline. And we're going to talk about censorship today. Again, my name's B.C., and welcome to my house. And, of course, I have very little time, but censorship is very important, especially since all the things that are going on in this world today. There's other networks too that you can go to, like Minds. There's a thing called Odyssey. There's also another network called Gab, G-A-B, as in I gab a lot. And like it says, there's a network called Minds, which looks very hopeful. There's a lot of war on the censorship, and there's a lot of things that we need to look at, because freedom of speech is not only going to affect you, but they're also going to go to your, house later on and say that, you're a violation of this, or, you need to go through certain courts because you have violated, new hate speeches and stuff, which I'm all for hate speech, whether you're racist against, blacks or hate Jewish people and stuff, because guess what? That means that I can stay away from the person if I need to. It's called freedom of choice and so forth. But the main thing is, objectivism. And, like it says, objectivism is one of my favorite things because it's supposed to the individual, and of course the First Amendment. The First Amendment is freedom of press, freedom of religion, freedom of expression, and I know I'm missing a few, but Norman Rockwell talks about it, which is a famous illustrator, which is from Massachusetts. And then there's a book called Ayn Rand, which is on objectivism, which is OBJECTIVISM. And we have to also stay away from the Wake mentality that David Icke also talks about, how we should stay away from. Wake mentality is you have to neutralize everything, like man and woman. You have to say person. Instead of manhole, you have to say utility cover, and instead of going to a bathroom that's man woman, you have to say utilitarian bathroom or whatever. But you get my point. The Wake Mo is also to erase history as well. Like, did you know that George Washington wasn't the first president of the United States? George Washington was the first president under their Constitution. But there's a thing called 14 Continental Presidencies of the United States. 14 Continental Congress Presidents of the United States, which also has one black president in there and stuff. So Obama wasn't the first black president. We also see people that if you're under the Joe Biden administration and stuff, we see that they also retired and went to Facebook, Twitter, and they also went to things like, YouTube and so forth. So that's a real dilemma in itself. So that means if you say anything bad against the presidency of Joe Biden, you have to be deleted. Or if you Joe Biden can say anything, whatever he wants, President Joe Biden. But if Trump says anything, he has to be deleted, as well as a lot of real conservative people have to be deleted, whether it be black or white. You're considered a white supremacist, even if you're black. But InfoWars and stuff like that talks more about that. David Icke talks more about that. Also Sky News and different networks that you'll see on Gab and so forth. I'm already 5 minutes up. So the First Amendment is very important, as well as hermetics. Hermetics is spelled HERMENEUTICS. And why I'm spelling that is just in case little children also watch this as well, that's in 5th grade and so forth. Of course, they see themselves as adults, but they're still little. But yeah, hermetics is treating one group of people, say like if they're white, the same type of principles as you would for the white people, you would for the black, and so forth. And I don't see that in this new movement, mostly by the Democrats, but it also can shift through the parties as Republican and Democrats throughout the years. So I'm really actually neutral. But I say what I see, and that's all I can say. Objectivism, gun control, of course, gun rights are to basically, you see in the news that the people that come in and, harm their schools and stuff mostly don't go by the law, and so extra gun laws are not the thing, but to make it so the people that are defending themselves should have the rights to defend themselves and so forth. Because the criminals are going to go through the back door anyhow. So I've always been for gun rights because that's the 4th Amendment of the amendments that are attached onto the constitutions and so forth. Exeges is taking stuff in its natural contents. EXEGESIS. And there's a few books that I want you to show you that I really have been inspired throughout the years. This one's called George Orwell's 1984, which is a great book that's about like a dictatorship society that decides to take away the freedoms. And of course, this is an action-packed sci-fi. And then we have Ayn Rand's Anthem, which is a really good book. And then we have Brave New World, which even talks about the one of the vaccines in it, which is the Pfizer vaccine, which is in 1931 when this was published. Then you have, like it says, Great Philosophy on Objectivism. And then you have, like it says, imagine if you decide to censor everything. Like, there's another great book that they try to censor too, not just Dr. Seuss, but also How to Kill a Mockingbird, which is really good. It shows how racism could be the ultimate evil, and how ridiculous something like racism can be. Imagine if you censored sensory because, someone's Catholic or whatever. Some of my family is Catholic. I would not be ashamed of someone saying the dark history on that. But I chose spiritualism after a while. Chose Protestant, then I chose spiritualism for, different reasons. And there's A Christmas Carol. Could you imagine this being censored because someone had a religious preference of deleting that? But like it says, if it's your home, that's one thing, but to censor it, A Christmas Carol. And, all these different books that, we're going to live in a society that our children are going to be stupid, basically. We have to fight on the boards and the committee of the schools to keep these books and to have it so everyone has the freedom of thought and freedom of expression, freedom to exercise you will, unless, like it says, the people that are in leadership or representing all these cultures and so forth and religions, and you have to learn your Mexican history, your Irish history, your your Spanish, your Jewish, your white, your black history, and like it says, things like just to be able to learn about history, to be able to learn about awesome books, whether it offends you or not. Like it says, we can flick to another source like Minds Network or anything. But my thing is I thank you for coming on my video. I have no cards in front of me, so hardly no cards. So I ran over a little bit, but I love you guys, and thank you for having tea. Your freedom of expression, your health, and look at the look at the stuff on health, on, like it says, the InfoWars and different things, different doctors coming out against the different vaccines and everything. And basically, billions of people, if it's right on, there's going to be the biggest genocide in history and so forth. So, like it says, look at the information, and if I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but according to the science that I have seen, Fauci, Bill Gates, and so forth, we need to go to their houses and definitely protest against these people if we have the money and stuff. I don't. I only can spread word. So I love you guys, and thank you for being on Facebook. Look at Minds. Look at Odyssey, which is ODYSEE. I love you guys, and keep up the great work. I love you guys. You are more important than just being an author. I really appreciate you. You're more important than my books. So keep healthy, keep your mind, keep your heart in check, and stay alive. Love you guys.